All right, so we're modeling a Lego character, the Lego man or whatever it's called. I'm not quite sure, but I did type Lego man reference for photos, and it plenty of stuff showed up for the Lego character. All right, so this one is something I made before just to kind of prepare the class for a simpler way of doing the Lego. I mean, this guy is quite simple, really. The arm is the one that's really tricky if you really want to follow it exactly. So, but this is a beginner series, so the whole point here is get the Lego character out as soon as we can, and then we can animate it. So several things that we're not going to do here is do the arm exactly as it is. We'll find a way to kind of cheat. We'll get close, and it's pretty easy. We're also going to have two versions, one without the bevel and one with bevel. All right, so you'll have two Lego characters with soft edge and whatnot. So in case you change your mind how soft that bevel that edge would be. All right. The other thing we're not doing is we're not creating any of the back side. I mean the bottom part right here, where you could see holes where the Lego, whatever you call them, the connecting Lego bump or whatever you call them. We're not doing that. We're just simply making it flat, just like a regular character. All right, so we're not gonna, because we could easily do that, but that's for maybe another lesson. All right, just simply for this one, get it out and get it going. Right. Another thing is that, again, no bottom right here, and I'm not going to taper this. I think the real Lego, I can't remember now, it kind of tapers a bit. I think the foot is a little bit wider. Okay, and we're going to download some skins and whatnot, and we'll apply those to the Lego. Very easy to unwrap. Okay, so let's first look at our reference. So if you go to your browser, if you want to play along and model this, all I did is on Bing, all right, not on Google, because if you're on Google, you won't be able to borrow some reference photos. Okay, Lego man reference what I type, and then I downloaded a bunch of photo, and this is the one I'm thinking of actually copying. Okay, so I'm gonna click it. It's super low res, but it's enough as long as you can see. It's not crucial. The only thing we're not really going to follow here probably would be, like I said, it tapers a little bit right here, and we're probably going to model this first and then model the hand after. So I'm going to have another reference where the arms are kind of rotated back so that this hand right here would be flat. Okay, kind of important for beginners to have an orientation to the XYZ global, which is X left and right, up and down, so on and so forth, right? Z up and down and all that stuff. So here at the bottom, I'm going to grab this as well, since we're going to copy it at this kind of flat rested state with the hand, and then we'll just simply rotate the arm, connect those, and get those going. All right, so again, if you want to follow along so you don't keep asking me for reference photos, Lego man reference on Bing. Okay, and another one, I open another tab right here. All I did is Lego man skin texture. So this is where you find all the textures you could use for different faces. Skin, the one I'm using right here is Wonder Woman face. This is another lesson. This is a Mandalorian helmet that I thought would be kind of cool to kind of stick in there and get that thing going. So that's Wonder Woman face. Well, no more. And Ant-Man. I just found this Ant-Man Lego, and just kind of put it around, made it metallic or shiny, something like that. Okay, going back here so you can play along. Oh, not that one. Lego man skin texture. All right, and then we have what do you call this? If I scroll down here, it's low res, but you can easily make this stuff. It's if you painted anything before, you'll be able to. There's plenty. You can make it Minecraft looking. Iron Man. There's an Iron Man. And this one is it's low res, but it's just to drive the point. We got several superheroes. I'm guessing here the rest of the parts are just plain black or blue, you know, the arms and the there is no leg part right here, so we'll just kind of keep it like that. And then we have the faces that we can swap with the other one. This one's kind of cool. We can wrap around flash at the side, so this would be a cool one to do with a cylindrical mapping. These are just straight up front projection, you know, project from view, that kind of stuff. All right, so let's get started. All right, I'm gonna get a new file right here going, and we're going to delete the cube. All right, I'm going to go to the front. So what I'll do here is I do numpad a lot, and we did have a video for those who did not have a numpad and how to move to the front, you know, right, or the side, so on and so forth. And I explained that on that video, so watch that one. It's recently uploaded, so if you watch this one, just go 2 videos back, I think. Okay, you can follow along. Watch that video first, though, you know, and basically to help the class along. If you guys don't do your job or you do your part into watching the weekly video lessons and you ask questions for everything that doesn't work, you know, it's your job and it's your responsibility to watch the videos and learn the basics and then follow along on this one. Okay, all right, so we're going to start with the images first. So I'm going to grab those, and I got them kind of grouped already. Okay, and I have if I scroll down right here, I did have some reference image also, just to kind of explain to you what's inside and what we're not doing. So those parts were not, it's just this one, like the torso. All right, that's the second one that I told you guys we're going to use as a reference. This is the arm, and this is, I think, what it really looks like. So it has a cut right there. It's flat, that it's not grinding, but it's like a line along the slant slope of the side of the body. This is the side of the torso, you know, just so that we can have a better look at, you know, the angle and whatnot. This is the hand, how it's actually created. All right, and then and detailed body, torso, and the legs. Okay, so we're going to create something similar to this one so that we get to learn 2 things. Okay, all right, so this one, and then we're going to go and get those going. All right, so first we're going to get our reference set. So I'm in the front. Make sure when you do this you're in front orthographic, numpad 1, or viewpoint front. Okay, and you can't be in edit mode. So if you have a cube, if you kept the cube right here, make sure you're not in edit mode. This is a really huge problem with students where they're trying to drag an image, it doesn't work, even though repeatedly I said you have to be in object mode. They keep doing it in edit mode and it doesn't work. So object mode, go to your file browser or finder if you're on a Mac, then drag this into the front viewport right there. Okay, and what we're going to do with this is simply center this. Okay, so we're going to center this by pressing N for your sidebar. Okay, you can click that button right there too. It's kind of small though, but there it goes. Go to item with the object still selected. So this is empty, right? So it's basically a dragged image into the scene, and then it's mounted as an image reference file. So empty right there. We're just going to call this front image, right, or front reference. All right, another thing we're going to do is this. We're going to open up our filter on our collection. Okay, I'm going to click this right here. Right now all you see is the visibility, right? So it's either you see it or you don't. So we want something where you can't accidentally select this and move it, because it's a reference. We want it locked. Okay, so here's a little trick. Click this filter right here. Blender doesn't have all this by default, so because you know, if you don't need it or you don't have the space for it, we're going to click this one where it looks like the select tool. I'm going to turn this on. When you do, you get this option. So when you uncheck that or disable it, you won't be able to select this. We're not doing that right now because we still got to move this. All right, but we're turning that on for later. Okay, I'm going to select it, make sure it's selected. I'm going to go to location item tab on the sidebar, put 0, 0, 0 on all these so that this thing is centered. Okay, so there it is. So this is the front. Now let's get the side. So we do want to see front and side at the same time, since we're using it as a reference, right? We're modeling the front and then matching the side. So assuming here that whoever graciously gave us this reference photo, this is actually aligned, meaning the top of the body right here matches the top of the front body, sorry, the side body. If not, we can kind of compensate a little bit. We can move these things up and down. But if we're off by a hair, it's fine. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's we can compensate for that. Okay. So to do that, you would park your cursor along this edge right here until it changes to that arrow where it looks like you can drag it and expand, right? So when you have it over there, right click. Okay, for those of you where this thing don't work, it's the other right click. All right, stop left clicking when I say right click. So right click and then vertical split. When you click on vertical split, it's not going to split it yet until you move your cursor where you want to have that split somewhere in the middle and left click to confirm. What's going to happen, you're going to have a vertical split with two identical windows. Simply change this, go to view, viewpoint to right, and we have the front and the right side. Okay, so we have the front and the right sides. We simply drag the exact same image into the right side. So now we have two front and side viewport to kind of use as a reference. So let's rename this. This is the right reference. Okay, and while it's selected, we're going to go to the sidebar. It's already open. Zero in the item tab XYZ location so that it's centered. What it simply will do is this. So we have that front and then the side kind of matching, so we can easily match it. It's not done yet simply because this is not centered to the world, right? So we want to just kind of center this one, and then whatever we do on one side, the other one happens as well. So let's go to the front first. I'm going to select the image, right, the front one. And then here on the X, I'm going to drag this to the right until this one is centered. How do you know it's centered? Well, you got to zoom in. Navigate until you find a spot where you could easily click one move or one arrow that will center it. So that looks like it's centered to me. Okay. If not, like I said, you know, we can compensate. It's not a big deal. Okay. Let's do the same thing here. Since we are copying the side, we want this centered. So I'm going to select this one. Well, this is centered already, right? So what we're going to do here is simply uncheck selectability, so you don't end up ruining this all the time. So you can't select this anymore. It won't go anywhere. So now we have the left side, I mean the right side right here. So along the item X right here, I'm going to drag this. Oops, sorry. Where am I? Right, okay. Right reference right there. So this is the Y-axis, not X. I'm sorry. Okay, because this is the side. Remember, it's the green one. We're going to move the Y until we think that's centered. Is that centered? Close enough, right? Maybe one hair there. All right. So that's good enough right there. So we have, as you can see, if I go right here, good reference. Look at the top, and the looks like that's the complete head right there. It's really matching, right? So whoever, the generous fella that or gal that gave us this reference photo, thank you. They did a great job. It's matching. So I'm going to uncheck selectability now so that this thing will not move. All right, so there it is. We are now ready. All right, so let's say for some reason this is bothering you, that it's too what do you call it? It's too bright, or it's getting in the way. Each time you have one of this reference selected right here, you can go to its parameter right here. I have the right one right there. If you select it and you go to the property page, you see the data for planes right here, or images. You have transparency. Activate that, turn it on, and then you can lower the opacity. Then there'll be more see-through. Okay, we'll probably do that since we want to see more of our object modeling. So I'll do the same thing here for the front. That one is selected, transparency, and then lower that. Okay, we should still be able to see what we're doing. I'm going to hide both a sidebar here so we have more space. Okay, so let's get started and start with the easiest part first. Okay, so the easy part here would be, well, at the beginning at least, would be the hip right here, or the torso. It doesn't matter. So we're going to start with this one because we can just copy this and then expand it and so on and so forth. It can be the other, like the other object. Okay, so and then we'll again create a modeling for it where we can achieve this kind of curvature without doing any boolean. So this is just bevel and good old classic extrude type of modeling. So let's get our cube. So I'm going to go to the front, add mesh cube. Okay, this will be the hip. All right, or the pelvis area, or we'll just call that hip right there. I'm going to go to X-ray mode so we can both see through the both front and side viewport, see the reference photo. So here I'm going to scale this until I kind of get the width right there. So here it's reporting that my image is actually not centered, or even if it looks like it's centered, it's not really centered because my model right here is a little bit on the right. So that's fine. Okay, we're just going to leave it like that. We know for sure the cube is centered right there. Okay. So next is that I'm going to go to my scale tool and then scale this one so that it's that height. Okay, then go to the move tool, move it right there, go back to the scale tool. All right, so that looks like it regarding that. Okay, here on the side I'm going to go y-axis and let's say that's good right there. Okay, all right, well, maybe by here. All right, so what we'll do is we're going to apply the scale transform so that Blender now knows that this is the new shape. You basically zeroed in on or you resetted the scale for it. Okay, it's no longer a cube in Blender's thinking, right? So that's the hip. Now let's create the torso. So we're just going to go to my scale tool, select tool again. We're going to duplicate this. So we're going to go object, duplicate object, or shift D. Okay, when you do that, it has to duplicate and it's going to move, right? So we're going to right click to cancel the movement. Okay, so it's just exactly on top right there. So let's rename that torso. All right, I'm going to use the move tool while the torso is selected. We're going to move it up here on top of it. Okay, we're going to have to kind of check this, how far that is floating along, right? Another way to always have an idea what's happening is you turn on your wireframe. So the overlay option right here, I'm going to click the down arrow, force the wireframe in there. Okay, so we're going to force the wireframe. So whether it's selected or not, you get to see the frame. Okay, so it's just kind of like a minor guide right there. It's kind of hard to see because it's still, it's very tiny. So there's a minor bit of separation right there. That's fine for now because, oh, it doesn't matter. We're going to scale this. So. All right, so let's scale this first, okay, and grab the white circle so that it scales uniformly. So we're just going to scale it until it goes kind of like that, all right? So we get that width right there. And again, it went down already, so, but doesn't matter. We're going to scale this here first. Once we have this kind of in position, that's when we start doing the other stuff. Okay, so we're going to go like so, a little bit more higher. A little bit more scale. So this is super basic modeling, guys. It's it's, you don't have to be too perfect. It's fine. It'll work. All right. So okay, right there. Lower it a bit. Okay, next we're going to scale it here. And that should be kind of exactly the same as that. There we go. So now I'm going to rotate my camera like so, because we have to extrude, right? So I'm going to edit mode, or hit tab, select face mode, select the top only, okay? And then while we're here on the front, I'm going to press E to extrude it all the way up right there. Okay, we're going to go back to the side viewport here so we can see what's happening. So you can see we don't have to do anything here other than later when we add the bevel, but that's for later. Now we're going to scale this non-uniform along the X. So I'm going to click my select tool, red arrow only, or red axis only, or X axis. Go like so. And all right, that's good enough. We're kind of following that. That one is kind of done over there. All right, so we are good. Okay, so the body is done and the hip is done. Okay, well, kind of. All right, so let's go here. Object mode. We're going to select the hip. We're going to do some cuts to this so we can make sure that we can get this kind of curve thing happening over here. Okay, so I'm going to do edit mode. Press tab. I'm going to do a loop cut right here. Okay, we're going to do 3 loop cuts. So I'm going to do Control R. And then position it on kind of like the vertical, a horizontal edge right here, so you get that cut. Then scroll your mouse, okay, until you get 3 cuts. All right. So I'm gonna left click to confirm, and then it wants to slide, or just right click to cancel that slide. So you get those 3 cuts. All right. Now we need to select all this points or lines right here, and then kind of spread them out. Okay, so we want them to be over here and over there. So right now the middle is still selected. So let's switch to point mode. Make sure you're in X-ray so that you get to select the front and the back. So I'm just going to go select those with a rectangle. Shift click, right? Shift drag, sorry. Shift drag, select those both, and then we're going to use this Y-axis on the scale. Move those back like so. That should be good enough. All right, so let's see if this is going to work. All right, we're going to go to edge mode right there. Okay, I'm going to go over here. We're going to select this edge right here at the bottom, and we're going to move it up. How high? Maybe about half distance of this one to that. Okay, just kind of eyeballing it. All right, so it's right there. We did we object transform apply scale on this one? Maybe. All right, but I'm doing it again just in case. Okay, so we're about to bevel with that thing still selected. I'm going to right click, bevel edge, and then we're just going to drag this one until we kind of get a bevel. Okay, it's not going to be perfect. We're going to go to bevel options right here, add those segments. Okay, we want to be a little generous with this. Oops. All right, let me kind of go over here, maybe 10, and then I'm going to expand my bevel. Let's see, let's change the shape. All right, I think I need it a little bit more higher before the bevel, so I'm going to do undo. Command Z, Control Z. All right, so this is before the bevel. I'm going to move this a little bit higher. Okay, about, used to be 50%. Now it's about 70, 68%. Now let me do the bevel. Okay, and then change my shape back to 0.5. That was the original. Okay, and let's see. Maybe like that. Then let's get the shape. All right, that's probably will work. Okay, or lower this one. Just kind of checking. Let's see. All right, it's good enough. Okay, so my numbers are, it's going to be different with yours depending on how you want that perfectly done. Okay, so I think that's good enough right there. So and I'll do some cleanup here. I don't want any of this kind of lines. They don't add to what we're doing. So I'm going to go to edge mode and select those. I'm going to drag a rectangle this side. Shift drag it on this side, right click, not right click, X, dissolve faces, not delete edges. It's going to leave some vertices, so dissolve the edge. All right, and let's take a look. I'm going to go turn off X-ray just to kind of see. All right, there we go. So we got that going. Okay, all right, I'm going back to this one. So now let's create the leg, one of the legs at least. So this one should be pretty easy. Make sure you're in object mode. We're going to go get a mesh cylinder. All right, we're going to leave it as 32, exactly as is. All right, We do want to rotate this. I'm in the front right here. We want it kind of laying flat, right? So that would be the y-axis. So R, Y, 90, and press enter. It rotated, okay? If you don't want to do that, you can also just press your sidebar and then go y-axis 90 degrees. Type that in, and it'll do the same thing, okay? Going back to X-ray on the side viewport, I will scale this. I'm just going to press S to scale it. Go to my move tool here and then kind of move it here. Zoom in. All right, that's way too zoom. Okay, S. And so on and so forth. So we just want it kind of below that one. Oh, we missed that curvature by a bit. But we can always move this two right here. So if you have OCD like me, you grab those points. Grab those points right there. And then fix it. Scale. Actually, we need to grab those two. You can totally ignore what I'm doing right here, okay, and just go on with your modeling. It's just that whenever I see something like this, it just bothers me. So, all right, there you go. Just kind of like a quick, maybe that's a little too much, but that's anyway. Let's get out of there. Going back to this one. All right, so is that the correct size? No, not yet. So let's scale that a bit. Move it up a bit. Scale it a little bit. All right, that's probably good enough. I do want it to go all the way there, so I'm going to scale it some more. All right, okay. So now what we'll do is go to the front. We're going to mirror this, so we're just going to grab the front right here, the X, and then just kind of park it right here. So we'll mirror it when it's complete, then we'll flip it over. You know, it's much easier. So here, oops, sorry. Click the not Z. All right. Supposed to click on Shift. I ended up clicking caps lock all the time. So scale this one so it's the same kind of width right there. Dimension flat right there, and then maybe a little bit more so we get more of this. Well, it's kind of blurry, but that's, I guess that's fine right there. Okay, so that one is pretty much done. However, the photo, do you see it? There's kind of like, it's kind of pushed back here a little bit. So there's this thing right here. So what we'll do is, we can create that. We can create them as two pieces. But to simplify it, let's just kind of go straight right here. Okay, but that's what a real Lego is. It has that space right there. So just basically select the front, and then you can just extrude that right there, right? It's not a big deal. So let's simplify ours. Let's not include that. Let's just kind of create this one going down, right? But if you have your modeling pride, for those of you who know how to do that, please go ahead. Okay, so for this one, we're going to hit Tab to go to edit mode. And we're just going to mark where it starts to go straight. So that's the point right there, and this one right here. So those two. If yours, it's closer over here, grab those instead. Whatever's closest, right? So that one, and then everything here pretty much went flat, right? So what we're going to do is, all these lines right here we don't need. Okay, we're not going to need any of this line. So I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to turn off X-ray. See all those lines between those? We're not going to need them, right? So what we're going to do is select those. All right. So we're going to select those. I'm going to switch to edge mode. Keep in mind those first and last are selected. So I'm just going to shift click. Let's get the the scale tool out. All right. So I grab everything in between, almost. And then the first and the last, we're going to unselect. Shift click. Shift click. So what is selected now, sorry, is only this lines right here, not that one where it's starting to go straight, and this one right here. And then simply we're going to do is press X and just simply dissolve those. So it looks like this. once you dissolve all those. Again, don't delete edges, dissolve the edge. All right, so we got this one right here. All we have to do now is extrude this part, right? So I'm going to press face mode, select this part, go back to side, and press E to extrude. All right, so it's going to go like so, like weird one, but we have another extrude. I'm going to undo that. Right click to cancel, undo. Okay, we're going to use the other extrude option. So you'll find it right here. It's called extrude along normals. And hopefully that normal will follow this one. Maybe not. We can just fix that. We can just flatten it, so it's not a big deal. Okay, I'm going to go Alt E. Extrude along normals. Okay, so that's still the, I'm hoping a different orientation. So that would be the same thing, extruding normal. So nothing different happened there. All right, that didn't work. So there they have the extrude right there. So I'm just going to click undo. Okay, so we're just going to press regular undo. There we go. All right, and then we're just going to position this here. All right, we want to make sure that all these lines are actually lined up. So we'll do some straightening scaling techniques here. So we want this flattened, right? So that would be scaling along the z-axis. So all I'm going to do is SZ0 and press enter, and that thing is flat. Okay. Another thing is you could use your scale tool and you keep doing this along the z-axis until there's nothing left to scale. Then it's flat. So that is the same thing as typing SZ0. Okay. SZ0 will do a flat one. All right, so we want to make sure this is straight though. So what we'll do is we're going to go to point mode, select all of those, and then scale them along the y-axis. So if I keep dragging this until it doesn't move anymore, it's the same thing as typing SY0. So we know for sure that's a straight line. We'll do the same thing here. SY0. But it did move a little bit there, so we'll fix that by moving it back a little bit. Okay, then we're going to move this up a bit so we can model the foot. Okay, so now we're just going to select number 3 right here. Okay, press E to extrude. Then this one, press E to extrude. All right, now the leg, one of the legs, done right there. Okay, so next is we're going to, well, we can just duplicate this, so it's no point mirroring it because it's an individual. So this is the left leg, and I'm at the front right here. So I'm going to go Object, Duplicate, Object. It's going to move, right click to cancel. We're going to rename this right leg. Okay, and we're going to move it so that it's flush against this object right here. So I'm going to turn off X-ray mode. All right, we just want that flushed right there. And what about this middle part? Well, we're going to use this leg right here, okay, or that leg. So we're going to duplicate this again. Object, duplicate, right click to cancel the movement. Let's call this one, well, let's not name it because we're just gonna include it with this one right here. So I'm just gonna move it kind of centered right there. I'm in X-ray mode. Scale this so it kind of fits inside. All right, so we're gonna go like so, and there should be a tiny gap between the two legs, so it can't be as wide as that one. So here we go. So there's a tiny bit of gap so that there's no friction there, kind of centering that. So we know that's centered. All right, and what we're going to do here is hide the left and right leg, so all we see is this middle part right here. Let's hide the photos also. Okay, and what we'll do is just go to edit mode, face mode, and then select all this while in X-ray mode. X to face, delete faces. So now this thing is kind of open right here. So we're just going to go edge mode, select those edge right there, press F for face. Now this is solid. Okay, I don't know if that's what it's really in the middle, but let's just kind of use that as the reference. So I'm going to turn on all the things we hid, and let's take a look. All right, so it has that part right there. Probably not going to look something like that, but let's leave it like that for now till we get all the mechanics going. It's good enough for our what we plan to do with our animation. All right, so there's the there's that part. Now let's model the head. This should be super simple. We're going to use bevel, okay, to create those, that shape. Even though I said we're not beveling anything yet, we do need the bevel here, kind of like what we did over there, just for modeling, not for smoothing edges. So Shift A, or add mesh cylinder. We're going to use 32. We're going to use it exactly like this. We're going to move it up here, center it, scale it, S, to kind of get the diameter correct. All right. Probably it's flush against this or not. Okay, that's probably good enough right there. We're going to also we'll scale this going like so. So it's the same height as that. We'll move it so that it's in the kind of the same formation as that one. We're going to go Object, Apply, Scale, since we're going to bevel it. Okay. All right, so now let's do the bevel. I'm going to go here on the right side to do my selection. Go to Edit Mode, go to Edge Mode, select all these things going all the way around by clicking Option or Alt and clicking one of the edge, selects it. We want to select the bottom as well. Alt, Shift, click, so we got them both selected. I'm going to right click, bevel, drag the mouse, okay, until we're pretty happy with the bevel. All right, I think right there. Let's take a look at our bevel option here. Make sure this is on 0.5 on shape, okay? Because remember, I manipulated that so it kind of works with the with our hip. But here it should be 0.5. That gives you the correct angle, 45 degree, okay? And number of segments, 10. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's still low poly relative, all right? We're going to leave it like that. So 10 segments, 0.5 here, and then whatever width you decided to kind of give it actual like that. I think that works, okay? And we're going to then select the top face, that is. Select the top face right there, going back to 1 right here. Okay, going to number 3 over here in the numpad so we could see all the, sorry, not number 3 here, because I do want to extrude it up to that part right there. So I'm just going to press I for inset faces until right there, I think, is where we should be extruding this now. Press E to extrude. All right, kind of like that. I went up because I think it's beveled, but we can always adjust that after. Okay, there it is. That one's done. Select the bottom now, which is the neck. This looks like, actually, we can just probably extrude this, and that's fine for the neck. All right, maybe a little lower. All right, if you want it a little bit bigger, you can scale this one a little bit. So let me click undo. Let's do this right. All right, right here. So when we select that, okay, I'm going to press S to scale it, and then E. All right, so now we have the neck. Okay, so the head is done. That's probably the easiest one to make. All right, now the hard part. Well, we'll make it a little bit easy. Okay, so let's model this one, kind of this angle, and then rotate it later so that it's pointing down, and we'll create the hand after. So the arm first. So this is, we're going to use a curve, right? If you've never used this before, just kind of slow down the video or watch it multiple times. Okay, it's we'll have a lesson on curvature actually before I give this as a project for you guys, so you should be fine at this point, right? For those who are watching the videos in advance, pretty easy to do. Okay, so let's take a look. I mean, I'm going to start naming this. All right, I'm going to connect these two together. So this part, the hip, and the middle part right here. Okay, those two. All right, shift click it. I'm going to combine them. So object, join. They become a single object. I should have shift click the this one instead. So we're just going to rename this now. This is the hip. So it's a single object now. Okay, kind of like that. Okay, it's a single object now. All right. So let's see what else did not get named. Okay, everything looks like we're good. Okay, so let's take a look and let's start modeling this one. Okay, so for this one we will start modeling the arm. There's going to be two demo on how to model this. This one would be the more simplified version. The next one after this is the more complicated one because there's a cut right here. So we're kind of following the real toy a little bit, okay, but just a little bit. All right, so what we'll need to do here is we're going to start with a curve. All right, so this is the front, this is the right side. I'm going to add a curve path right here. It's going to be laying flat on the ground like so. So we need to rotate it so that it goes up. So that would be an RY90. So it's standing up. Okay, and then it's too big, so let's scale it. Okay, just kind of position it right there. Here we're going to go X-ray mode so we could actually see what we're trying to trace. Okay, this is right there. So over here, we don't need to since you know, we could see the drawing. So I'm going to hit tab. It has 5 points right here. All right, so we're going to start with the first one. We're going to drag it so that it's inside. This one goes here a bit for the shoulder. This one goes here for kind of like the bicep area. That might be the elbow. And then the last one is for the wrist right here. Okay. We might need to add another one here just for the curvature, but again, we're trying to kind of simplify it so that we might just kind of leave that as is. Again, there's another demo after this demo here, and it will be another way of doing it. So it's up to you which one you pick, okay? But this one is a simpler one. So we will, once we have that kind of position, sorry, that one needs to be in a straight right there, okay? And maybe move it a little bit here. There we go. All right. Let's get our geometry for this, okay? So while the path is selected, I'm going to go to the curve parameter property right here. You'll see geometry, open it up, okay? Then you will see depth. So simply drag this to the right, and then you'll see that geometry kind of come to life right there. You see it right there. Okay, so we need to kind of lower it. Okay, it's way high right there. Okay, lower that right there. And kind of messed up our kind of bicep area, which is fine. We'll probably maybe leave it right there or lower it a bit. Okay, and then our elbow right here. Maybe move this down just a bit, and then the wrist or the end right there. Okay, so now it's a little too big. So each one of these, you can control the radius. So if you have your sidebar on, press N for your sidebar. There's a radius, so I'm going to select the end one right there and just kind of trace the radius of the kind of move it. And okay, this one a little bit also. Okay, and then maybe the whole thing kind of stick out a little bit like so. I know it's not exactly the same as the thing, but I think we should be good with that, and we're just going to leave it like that. All right, and right here, let's take a look without the X-ray. I think it's fine like that. It's maybe we can lower the resolution right here because it's still gonna it's still fairly smooth without all those. So let's make this one resolution of 4, and then over here maybe we'll leave it like 4 by 4. Okay, 4x4 on that one. You see that collision right there? That's fine because that's the way it's supposed to be cut. So like I said, there's a part 2 version of this that's a little complicated where I actually cut that. Okay, we'll leave it like that, and then we're gonna do a modifier here. Go to object mode. The modifier is Solidify. We want even thickness and only the rim. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Okay, kind of hard to see with the, yeah, only rim, so it doesn't get all that crazy protrusion in there. Okay, let's also go to normals. Sorry, right here. Actually, I don't have access to that yet. Yeah, until it's geometry, but until it's a polygon. So we'll leave it like that for now. Let me see. Flat shade it so we can see it. All right, might be too much on the Solidify. Okay, maybe something like that. All right, so that's it. And you can just leave it like this. It's a lot cleaner and it's a lot easier to animate later. Okay, shade smooth, and then well, actually, this is what's going to happen. We will then apply the Solidify. Sorry, we can have to convert it to mesh first. Okay, and there you go. So you got all the geometry in there, and then we can go here and apply auto smooth, shade smooth, and probably cranked up to 60 degrees. Okay, so there's the arm for it. It's right there. It's too long. We need to scale it. Okay, you can scale it in edit mode or object mode, don't matter. Okay, so I'm gonna let's do it in scale edit mode so you can actually see it. And scale it like so. Press G to move. All right, so I'm just kind of positioning it right here. And what we want from this one is we have this kind of circle shape right here. We want that shoulder to kind of go where this thing is, a little bit lower right there. Okay, and this is what's going to happen. We're going to move this point so that this becomes kind of like it's let me use my move tool here so it's precise. Right there, this will be this point, 2 points right here will go up. That will be kind of like where the elbow is, and then this one I'm going to press G, kind of like the forearm will be. I'm going to press E to extrude the last one, so we have that as the kind of like the wrist or the last part. Okay, so we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. I just added the last extrusion here. If you're trigger happy with your E, you probably could do this by accident. E. All right, watch out when you press E, you get 1, and then if you don't move it, it doesn't look like you made it, but it's there. Okay, so just watch out. Okay, so now that we have this, nothing is happening really. Go to the front right here. We're going to press G, and we're just going to kind of make this one go like so. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. With the path or the curve selected, go to the property of the curve. This one right here is this like green reverse C. Go to geometry, open it up. You have offset and bevel. You want to be on bevel. You have your depth right here. This is what we want. So increase the size until that thing grows to the circle size that we want right there. Mine is 0.26. Let's make it 0.25 so we have some sort kind of like a reference for it. It's very dense, not in the way that we want it. So let's change the resolution preview all the way to 4, I believe. Yeah, would be good. We got 4 right there. All right, and then for the resolution for the bevel, we'll probably go with 3 right there. Okay, so we got 4 and then 2 right here. Okay, so let me turn off X-ray mode. There it is. It's starting to look like it, but it's not exactly. Okay, let me turn off X-ray here as well. What we need to do is kind of follow the shape, right, going in there. So let's first go with this one, the first point. Okay, let me turn on X-ray, and then over here. Okay, let's turn on X-ray. We need to lower the diameter or radius of this one. So press N for the sidebar. With that point selected, you will see radius. Simply dial this down until it kind of looks the same. Select the next one. Do the exact same thing gradually. There we go. Elbow. All right, I think we are done. Okay. So we got that going right there. And then let's take a look at this one. Let's kind of move this a little bit. Kind of get that shape better. And then this one also. Kind of move it up. Just to kind of just follow this one. All right, on the left hand side, we're probably done. I probably drag that too much. Okay, on this one, not close. All right, we got that weird thing going on right there. Let's move this one back. All right, let me turn on 3D wireframe here so you get to see what's happening. So we got to push this back. Okay. Maybe pull this out a bit or leave it there. Okay, so this one, I'm gonna grab 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of move it out. Okay, there it is. We want it out right there. Then over here, kind of move that back a bit. Maybe move this too a little bit. Right there. This 3, this 2, sorry. Kind of move it like this. All right, so maybe we can lower the radius on this one a little bit. There we go, that's better. And this one, what is the 0.6? This is 0.7, so this has to be smaller. Well, not really. Okay, let me see here. Maybe just grow that a bit. All right, let's see here, go up. All right, that should be enough tinkering. We should have enough right there. And what we're gonna do here is select all this, move them out just a bit right there to kind of match that. And probably increase the radius on this one and the last one as well. Okay, we do want it to kind of taper. Okay, that looks good right there. Okay, so now what we want to do with this is we're gonna cut it right here, like bisect it. Okay. Let's increase the resolution first. So right now, this is a curve, folks. It's a NURBS object. It's not a polygon. So when you want to manipulate its components, like its points, edge, or face, we won't be able to, because each time you press tab or go to edit mode, it's still the spline. So we need to convert this into a mesh. So we're going to right click, convert to mesh. Only do this when you're really happy with your shape, because once you do this, you lose access to this spline or this curve. You won't be able to model like this. Okay, so, and you do it in object mode. Convert it to mesh. All right, so that's all done right there. Let me save this one. Let me call this one Lego 3. I've done a multiple of this, and I keep finding ways to make it a little bit easier for students, so I keep modifying it. Right, it's not exactly perfect, but we'll take it. Okay, we could have moved that a little bit, but we want the shape right here. It doesn't match anyway. So, all right, so there it is. I'm going to turn off my X-ray so you can see it. Okay, since we're going to cut this with a bisect, like right here, kind of like the Lego hand. You see it? All right, we could have done without cutting it, but you know, let's learn how to do that. Okay, we need to increase its resolution because we won't be able to get that subdivision surface after we cut this it will not look correct. So we're going to add the modifier subdivision surface with the object selected in object mode, right? Add modifier. This is the wrench icon. Subdivision surface. So you can see it went super smooth, right? We want level 2 actually, because we're going to leave this alone exactly like this. All right, so super smooth now, kind of like the Lego. This one can turn smooth too if you right click shade smooth. Okay, and then you turn on your normals here on that green triangle, auto smooth. There we go. Looks like a propane tank, right? Propane tank. Okay, select this one. All right, and we have the subdivision surface. We're going to apply this. It's going to be, this will be our high polygon. We don't have a choice because it's it needs to look smooth. So we're going to go apply. So now that's gone. Look at this one in edit mode. Oh, lots, right? Maybe we should have done just one. All right, let's do that. That's too much. So level render 1 1. Okay, 1 1 only. That should be good enough. Apply. All right, so okay. All right, it looks still jaggedy, but that's fine. All right, so now let's do the bisect. So pay attention to this one. I'm going to select this. I'm going to go to edge mode. Face mode. Press A to select everything. Everything is selected. Okay, I'm going to use the bisect tool. It's under knife called bisect. Okay, this one is a one-click drag operation. So we want to cut this like so. Well, it won't cut it. It won't delete the cut. We have to do that, but we're going to cut it right here. So I'm going to select almost at the edge of this, the body torso. And then, oops, sorry, I missed the, you got to click and drag where you want it to end. So we're kind of bisecting this by a hair right there. Okay, you see it? See the gap? So now you can drag this along and then kind of make that even tighter. So we're going to make it tighter like so. Okay, and then you can even kind of pivot it later, but I think we're fine. Well, I think we need to see a gap though. All right, it's probably fine right there. Once you're done, you're done. Okay, so let's go to object mode. There'll be a cut there now. Let's just hide the torso first. We don't even want to see it. Okay, I'm going to press tab right here to see it. There it is. So we're going to select all the faces right here. So I'm going to click Alt, click that, and then I'm going to go Control plus to increase my selection. That's all I got. Okay, and I can select all this then. I can switch to my circle select tool. So circle select will, if you click shift, it will add whatever. It's kind of like a paint select. Okay, and don't go too crazy perfectionist on this one. If you miss anything, you can always come back. It's a lot better to just select as much on the first run, and then you can always, you don't want to accidentally add past that bisect line. Okay, you can delete, then come back and select again, so on and so forth. There's probably some not so good cut on the bisect here, but we can fix some of that with the auto smooth. All right, so shift click. I'm shift clicking the rest right here, and it's kind of gliding it like painting. All right. Oh, undo. All right, so I'm going to get out of that one, go back to select box. I'm going to take a look all the way around. They did not select anything extra. Okay, now I'm going to press X, faces. I missed that one. So select X, face. Is there anything more? Yep, right here. That one right there. That one's supposed to be there. It's another one. Very important you get this all, because we're going to grab that line and then fill in with polygon. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that one. So I'm going to press number 2 here for edge. Alt click, it selects the entire thing, all up to the cut. So shift click this one, That's everything right there. Hopefully we didn't miss any. Then we're going to press F right here to fill in that. All right, so that one is done. Okay, let's take a look. It has all this imperfection right here. That's fine. We're going to go here, turn on auto smooth. There it is. What about the thickness? We add another modifier, Solidify. And go even thickness right there, and then we just simply, whoop, probably around that much. Okay. So it's temporarily, it's not part of your selection. All right, so that's done right there. And let's go to number 3 right here. All right, and we're going to move the pivot point. Well, we're going to move that when we animate it. So just kind of eyeball this for now. So I'm just going to go rotate this like so. Just so that it's kind of flat, aiming down. Like that one. So we can create the hand straight down right here without any trouble. Okay, so then we're going to move the pivot point in there, and then it just kind of rotate and it swings normal. Okay, so if we look at the top, actually, let's see, maybe we should move it now so that the correction, the thing would be correct. Okay, let's do that. So let me go with the cursor, go right here on, let's go wireframe. Okay, let's go with the cursor. So I'm just going to go kind of eyeball this one, put it right there, so kind of center. All right, right here, we can go right here. Okay, let's see. All right, right there should be good. What we're going to do is we're going to change the pivot point of this object so it rotates right there. So I'm going to go object, set origin to cursor. So now when we have our rotation, it rotates right there. Okay, so that's what those things that are probably, that's from the Solidify, we can always dial that down. There we go. Okay, they're probably protruding in there, so we're gonna do only rim. Okay, so we can move it. All right, so now I'm gonna rotate it. So it should be rotating where it's supposed to be, and I'm just gonna eyeball this so it looks like it's flat here. We can then create the arm, and we should be done. Okay. All right, so for that one, it's a cylinder again. So Shift A or add cylinder. All right, and we'll probably leave it at 32. That's fine. And we're going to just rotate this one. So that would be RX90. We're going to scale it. I'm going to put it right here. And basically roughly the same as that one. Okay. And it's centered right here. Actually, on the toy that I've seen, it's not. It's actually protruding a little bit like this. Okay, and it has a cylinder that's going down here connecting it close to the edge right there. Okay, so I just scaled this one. What was the number? Let's go with 0.4. Okay, so it's all kind of the same. All right, and let's position it here, kind of centered to that wrist or arm right there. Okay, let's get another one. I'm just going to duplicate this, Shift D. We're going to go RX90, so it's standing up. Scale it, position it, so this one becomes the kind of like the connector or the wrist. All right, kind of like that, and we'll just leave it like that for now. Okay, so now let's model this one. So it looks like there's some that are kind of missing right here. Get it at an angle, so we'll just go do our straight. All right, so I'm gonna go face mode, select the front and the back. Let me hide the reference now. We don't need them, at least for now, so they don't get in the way. Okay, select those, and we'll just delete those faces. Okay, and then here, let's turn on the front because we do need to. So let's say we need, so from here to there, so we're gonna go all right, so we got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. All right, I'm gonna go number 1 here so we could see that. Okay, maybe something like that. Okay, so select those faces, press X, and then faces. So we now have that. So that's all we did. We just kind of cut those. Maybe that's too wide. Well, maybe that's fine right there. Okay, we're going to go number 3 right here on the side, and we're going to create that curvature. So we're just going to select one at a time here, and then we'll just go like so. Okay, so it just has that curvature, and since I have X-ray mode, it did it on both sides. Now I'm going to just turn off X-ray. We're going to add the Solidify modifier. Okay, even thickness, and then we'll just kind of eyeballing that thickness right there. So all right, that should be good enough. Okay, one more maybe. Okay, and we're gonna go just kind of flatten that. So we're gonna go right click this, apply the Solidify. So now we have access to the polygons. I'm gonna go with X-ray mode, so I'll just kind of flatten this a little bit. Select those. Okay, and let's see, let's take a look up to here, maybe scale tool, just gonna go like that and select just those, then just those two. All right, so that should be for the hand. So for this one we need to select both. Forget my overlay. Okay, select both right there. Let's take a look if there's a, okay, that should be enough overlap. So we'll do a object join. They become one, so we can call this one the right hand or left hand. Okay, and then this one is the left arm. All right, and then this one we'll right click it, shade smooth, and it looks funky. We'll just go to its normal auto smooth. There we go. All right, unhide the body, hide the reference photo, save. We're actually done with the model. We just need to make some adjustments right here. I didn't expect the probably have to move this arm a little bit out. Let's take a look. Let's kind of move that a bit like that for now, and then we'll because it's actually rotated a little bit going this way. So let's go to the top. Let me undo that one. All right, so this one right here, I'm just going to flatten this one a little bit. Okay, so that when it's doing its RX rotation, we want to make sure there's no collision. All right, we're just gonna move it like that a little bit and then rotate it this way, because this is how that was actually made. This one is actually rotated like so on the actual reference photo. Okay, so that should be it. Okay, All right, and then we'll join those. I mean, we'll parent them and whatnot. So now let's do our mirroring. Okay, so we just want to mirror this for the other side. So we're going to, let's do this one first. Let's apply a mirror modifier to this. Okay, and it's doing it really funkily, you know. So we want it on one side, but it's not doing it because we want it on the X, but since the pivot point is centered right here, so we're going to use an object that would be its center. So we're just going to select this. We're going to use the body, then flips it on the other side. We'll do the same thing for this. Mirror along the X. We're going to use the body as its center point. It moves it over there. Okay. What else do we need? This one, right click, shade smooth, auto smooth. The same thing, auto smooth, shade smooth, auto smooth. All right, and our Lego object is done, or Lego man. All right, so we'll do part 2 where we're going to simply put some color and some texture to this, and that should be a lot shorter than this one. So apologize if it's way too long with we just have to explain everything, and the tricky part of course is this. It gets a little tricky. It's actually I've done this multiple times. It's the first time I really want to get the shape, but there's also a simplified version where we don't even do the cut, we just let it stick inside. So we could look at that version also. So all right, so here it's showing there's some more faceted kind of thing. So you just simply go to your auto smooth, go to 60 instead, or let's see, where does it go away? Does it really go away? It's probably just a bad bisect cut by me. Could have moved that a little bit to avoid those, but that will do for our animation for now. Let's go with 60. Oops. Yeah, they're just looking very pronounced right there past 32, so that's fine. Okay, all right, so part 2 for textures.